Hi, my name is Crystal McDonald in CPM term 1407, and this is my project review of my baby diary week 4. This week I'll be reviewing both projects on the Android and the iOS platform. On both platforms, users can create user-restricted records and read the user-restricted records, and I have one that is being read across both. And we'll go ahead and add another to Android. It takes a minute before they're both synced, but we'll go ahead and add an iOS milestone as well. Okay, when you come back, you can see that walking has been added and synced. Also, what is synced and available is that users can delete user records on both platforms. With a refresh, you can see the delete is gone, and you can also, just by clicking here, delete sitting up. Unfortunately, users can only update records on one platform. I did figure out how to update on iOS, but it wouldn't update on parse without breaking my app. And eventually I just made this huge mess, so much so that I had to totally redo the entire project without adding the update. And then I couldn't re-add it later. I don't know what I did before to get it working that I cannot now get to work. And you can see that sitting up has been deleted with the refresh. Let's go ahead and go in, and I will add a milestone. Just to edit this, I can go ahead and click on it, and maybe it wasn't 10 months old, maybe it was 10 and a half months old, and then click save. And you can see that it has updated to 10 and a half months. I will add a milestone. And just to edit this, I can go ahead and click on it. And maybe it wasn't 10 months old, maybe it was 10 and a half months old. And then click save. And you can see that it has updated to 10 and a half months. In the application portion, I wasn't that successful. I truly just ran out of time. This week went by so fast, and I was just plain out of time. My data does synchronize, as you've been able to see, and displays between both platforms and the back-end services. For example, I can add a milestone to my Android, as I have earlier, walking at 10 and a half months, and you can see it here on the iOS screen that's been synced. The only problem is to display this on the iOS version, it only synchronizes after a few minutes. I can always pull down to refresh it, and then it'll give it to me. Or when I add a new milestone on that one, it'll show me the older milestones. So when I re-enter the view, you can see it right away. Otherwise, it takes a while to see the additional entries. On my Android platform, the CRUD does function and work while offline, and it updates after a refresh when the connection is restored. It will do it automatically, but it takes a few minutes to catch up. So I'll go ahead and take it off network, and I'm turning off my Wi-Fi, and then I will click to add a new milestone, and we'll say I'll hit save, and it'll actually display here, and you will notice that once I click the refresh button after the network is restored, it actually disappears, but that's temporary because after a few minutes it actually does come back. But I can also take this first baby tooth and I'll go ahead and try another one. I just remembered that it was actually closer to 7 months. And then you'll notice that when I click here, it doesn't actually change. You've noticed when I hit refresh that it goes away, but it actually does come back after a few minutes. You can update while offline and you can read it, but like I said, it does take a while before you can actually see the changes. After refreshing and waiting for several moments, you can actually see where the offline data is now present after being refreshed. Has been added to both lists in Android and iOS, sharing the synchronization between the two. My UI is fairly simple to use. There are a few differences between the applications to account for native fill, but they pretty much do the same thing.